So part of success is failure. And in order to succeed, we really need to understand that failure is a necessary part of that process. So maybe instead of success, what we're going to talk about is failure and embracing that. So let's see how we go. Those unlucky. Good times. So it is funny how what people define as success, and this has been coming up a fair bit, not a fair bit, but in a few conversations, been pretty pertinent. And hey guys, yeah. So I'm interested to get Enzo's take on it. Oh, hello, stranger.
You hear me?
Yep. You hear me?
Wow, that was pretty epic right there, man. I guess when social media shuts down, the world shuts down. That's pretty impressive right there.
Yeah, man.
Wow, some scary stuff, man. But you know what? I'm glad you got loyal fans. They keep tuning in.
That's it.
You know, they deal with all the frustrations. Like, oh, there goes. There. Absolutely love it. We were talking about what defines success.
Yeah, and just while I was waiting for you to jump on, I was just saying about how much of a necessary part failure is to success. So we'll get to that as well. But first of all, yeah,
Sure.
share what your view of success is, or what success means to you.
Well, for me at least, success means getting the most out of this life, as many adventures as I can, because I believe that this is the only life we have. So I want to get as many adventures out as I can. I also believe that success is leaving life on top of life for other people. So other people are living their life, and I get to do something extra for them. It gives them a little bit easier path. I'm mainly that way because I've had a lot of misfortune in my life, and I just decided not to be selfish, but to be more altruistic. So success to me is giving to people and exhausting the hell out of my life. That's pretty much what I define success as. Doing the things that I truly love, that, you know, because I'm going to tell you something right now. When you're gone from this world, there's only two things you can leave people. There's only two things that people will remember you by. And I think it's important to understand what those two things are. And one of those things is you leave people a system, like the light bulb, the street lights, whatever, something that they can use and they get that from you. The other thing you leave people is the way that you made them feel. They never remember all the details of the stories. They don't remember everything you won, the awards, the trophies, but they remember you, the way that you made them feel. So you talk about them for 30, 40 years, they're like, oh, I remember Matty B. He was a nice guy. Like, he was cool. He was philosophical. Like, so I firmly believe on, living your best life, exhausting it 100%, and leaving people with a good feeling as to what life should be really meant for. That's kind of like how I define success. I don't see it as being materialistic.
Yeah.
I really don't, because you're more alone. Your morning and your night starts and stops without money. It's just you by yourself in your head. There's no money. There's no fancy suits and stuff. It's just you all by yourself. So that's what you need to take care of first.
Mm-hmm.
Home. Take care of your house. Your house is in here.
And it's full on. Like, there's literally over 5 billion people living below the minimum wage of Mexico. I think there's 2 or 3 billion that are living on less than $2 a day. And to stifle them and to even fathom that the majority of them are unhappy majority of the time would be, I think, a misrepresentation. And yet in Western society and Western culture here, there's such a heavy emphasis on the need to have status, or the need to have material wealth. And as much as so many people don't like to admit that they value money and materialism to that extent, the actions and behaviors speak far louder than what their words do in that place. And it's tough because we live in a consumer society in the West. It's all about consuming information, consuming food, consuming all sorts of stuff, information, and this pursuit of wealth as a measuring stick. But can you touch a bit more on, like you said, you've had your own sort of hardships that sort of brought you to this space, that took you away from that mindset of materialism. What were some of those things? And can you touch on specifically the impact that they had to lead to?
I mean, there was numerous things. You know, there was numerous things that dropped me out of my space. Whenever I put too much faith into something, I lost it. Whether it was a job, whether it was a girlfriend, didn't matter. There was just numerous things to count, and I just kind of feel like they're irrelevant after a while because they didn't stay around. But I do feel like in general that, like, wherever you live in your life, you have a couple things to take care of, and these are facts. You got to take care of your mental health. You got to find out, you know, what makes you happy and do what makes you happy. And yes, you do need to have finances to survive in life. Housing costs, healthcare costs, food costs, clothing costs. The basic, you know, necessities of survival always cost. So it's like they say, if you're Christian, you look in the Bible, it says, you know, give to Jesus what Jesus wants, give to Caesar what Caesar wants, give to the government what they want. So I kind of feel like in the world, what leaves people out of the realm of being able to fully succeed is technology, society, consumer, you know, producer demands have changed. And it's like the people that are really smart, really fast, have really valuable stuff, they're the ones that make the most money. Even if it's just being a YouTube video, you're valuable. And a lot of people are left out of that. And I don't think the world is completely fair. I don't think everybody's going to make the same amount of money. I don't think everybody is made to make the same amount of money. It's a consumer producer society, as we always say. So what do you do if, and let's just for sake of conversation, what do you do if your talent and your skills are not as up to keep with what society demands or deems as willing to pay you more money for, and you need to make a living because the cost of living is going up? What do you do if you're that, like, give an example, that 4'9" guy with okay genetics that wants to be on an NBA basketball team, but he can't because he can't compete with the big guys that are 6'2", 6'10", they're gigantic, and he wants to be there? What do? You know, you got to make a living, and all this around is, metaphorically speaking, is a demanding society that demands more from you. Well, I think you got to use, it starts right here. I think you have to start hiring out. I think you have to start making a team. Like, you have to say, wow, like, I probably am good at something that I have to figure out, but I may not be able, but I may not be good enough with what makes money now, and I still got to survive. So if I dream, I'm going to be poor, and I work hard, I'm going to be poor, but I got to do something to survive. So I think what you should do is start delegating. Who owns the majority of these big national teams, these big producers? Most of the people that own the biggest businesses in the world are not the talents of the businesses. They're just the brains that know how to structure, delegate responsibility, and manage it. They're not overly smart. You know, they're not overly talented. They're not overly genetically gifted, but they use their brains to twitch it around. So there's always a branch of the success tree out there that you can fit yourself on. So I think that if you're in this world and you decide that, you know what I mean, you decide that you have to do something great in your life, you have to legitimately start delegating your responsibilities so you can have a place doing something and you can be productive doing something. That's kind of the way it comes down to.
That's so pertinent. That's exactly where I'm at.
What's up? What's up, Jonna? Jenna, all these people tuning in. A little buzz sound in Australia. I don't know what's going on, but you know,
it's going off down here.
Busy country. But you know, but I think, like, we're all here. We're all here on Earth for a short amount of time, right?
Yeah.
And you know, and I remember Ernest Becker saying in the early 70s, in one of his books. He said, author that passed away, he said, there's no leaders without followers, no followers without leaders. That's a massive sense.
It's huge.
You stop buying Jay-Z and Beyonce albums, they no longer are getting paid millions of dollars for a show. It's over. We all need each other. I don't care who the hell you are. We all need each other. You find a cure for some disease out of the in-network of your medical coverage, the in-network of your medical coverage goes poor.
Yeah.
Just like that. Like, we all need each other. So we should never be fully greedy for each other. We should really help each other. But in the meantime, you know, how do you fit in? It's just like I said, I'll reiterate one time for people that are tuning in right now. The way that you fit in, if you don't have the talent, you know, and the attributes of what is defined in society as valuable, what society is paying for is valuable, you need to hire somebody. You need to team up with people. You need to do what you need to do that makes you feel good within yourself, but you got to make a living. So there's nothing wrong with creating a team to help you out. And I'll reiterate it one more time. I know there's a lot of noise in the background. Most of the people that own heavy sports teams in the world are not athletes. They're 5'1", 4'9" people. You can look this up. There's a lot of them. And they're just very smart. They know how to delegate and structure and manage money and stuff like that. The biggest people that run the companies are not the people that take hits in the face. They're the people that just execute thoughts. So what that means is there's always a place for you. You just have to stop thinking one-dimensional. The key to life is, and I say this again, LIFE, living a frequent evolution. It's always evolving like a tree. Where can you place yourself? Where can the fruit grow on this tree? And if this branch breaks and you're not genetically gifted anymore, you go to this branch. This branch is about management. This branch dies. This branch is about finances. This branch is about feeding the food. Like, find the branches. Like, you should never stop in life. You stop when you're dead.
So what's the measure?
You stop when you're dead.
What's the measurement of success? Is it hours feeling
Aurora,
fulfilled or
up?
happiness, or is?
So that's how you fit in. All right, that's understandable. You just have to, you know, keep, you know, put yourself out there and moving forward to fit in. So how do you find happiness? Well, there's no set goal. I don't think happiness should be a goal. Like, we've all gotten rewards. We've all gotten ribbons and stars and gold sticker stars in school and whatnot. And mom and daddy said, you're a beautiful kid today and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, but what is happiness in those levels? It's short-lived. It's gone. You had a great date with a girl. It's gone. So you can never put happiness on a marker in life. There's no such thing as a marker. That's just a goal that you achieved. Happiness, honestly, is in the process. And I think the people that go, I'm on this earth and I'm going to die at some point, and I know that the sun rises in the morning, the sun sets at night, that also means that my luck is going to go up, my luck is going to go down. Like, nature's always telling you nothing stays. It's always saying it's evolution. It's going to be hot, it's going to be cold, it's going to be wet, it's going to be dry. Luck is going to come your way. Luck's not going to go your way. One day you're going to wake up, everything's going to work. The next day you're going to wake up, you're going to stub your toe, and then your tire's going to go flat, and then someone's going to break up with you all in the same hour. Like, if you can understand that life is this wonderful roller coaster, and you're happy going, I'm just going to keep learning, and I'm going to keep getting stronger, and I'm going to keep being able to give back to people. You treat life as a process, like the invisible car dealer that you can't control. That's happiness, because you're alive.
Yeah.
Because if I went over there right now and I cupped your mouth and I said, goodbye, Matt, in 10 seconds, and I suffocated you and you fucking died, horribly thinking, but you would be like, no. I would rather live a shitty life. I would rather not go. I'd rather, like, fucking kick cans in the street. The process.
Yeah.
I think we remove ourselves from knowing. It's like The Alchemist. Ever read The Alchemist book?
Yeah.
All of his love and his joy, it was here the whole time.
Yes.
He didn't have to go anywhere. And I think it's so vitally important to go, like, look around and go, I'm okay. Like, I don't need too much of anything. I'm okay. And you have to really discipline yourself for that, because happiness is the process. It's the ups and downs.
So then
and value is in.
Yeah, sorry, finish that.
Value is what you put and value in.
Yeah, so is then success just simply a state of mind?
Is success a state of mind? I think it's a state of infatuation. What the fuck? There is no such thing as success.
It's not.
You were born.
That's it.
You're born.
Fucking one.
That's the most success you're ever gonna. That is the most success you could ever have in your life. It's just you got to experience this. Doesn't matter. This jacket doesn't matter. This AirPod doesn't matter. You know, my ex-girlfriends don't matter. None of that shit fucking matters. What matters is, wow, like I get to feel this.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is this a simulation? Like, that's amazing. That's your success right there. Is being here. How many people? Let me tell you something. All the greatest people in the world, and I reread this. The people that didn't tune in last time. You know, some of the greatest people in the world are no longer here, and you don't think about them. The people that invented the way electricity works, the telephone, vehicles like Henry Ford, Shakespeare with his poems, and you can go on down the list. You don't think about them anymore, and it goes to show you that and a lot of people out there will never be as big as those people. They will never impact the world as big as those people, and you still don't remember those big fucking people. So you should not be running around your entire life going, I need to do everything. No. Nobody's going to give a fuck after the second generation. What you should be doing is being thankful to be alive, making people here happy. And if you're lucky enough to develop something like the fucking telephone or whatever, and people can use it, you won one way. And if you're lucky enough to make people remember you 20, 30 years from now and go, yo, Matty B was fucking awesome, man. That guy came out of nowhere and did something. You won. True happiness is in the simplicity. It's not in the complexity. The complexity is bullshit. It's a facade, and the problem is that technology has told you keep impressing each other. You ever sit next to somebody that has about 800,000 followers, 1 million followers online? They're not there. They're not in conversation. They're always thinking about something else. You can't even getting something enriched. Simplicity is where it's at. And if I could find a place in the world where I can live healthy without having to pay exuberant amounts of rent and bills, I would do it. I would do it. No matter how many celebrities and people I know, I would walk away from every fucking thing to go live in simplicity.
So that sort of touches on then what I'm hearing is, again, like just living right in the moment and being so grateful for this very moment, which is all we've got. And if that is able to happen in the simplistic state, no matter what you're doing, whether it's driving a car, sitting on an interview online, maybe having some lunch, or performing in front of 100,000 people.
How cool is that? You know, one day you go into a store and you make a vlog. One day you're talking to Matty B, you know, on there. You're doing so many different things. Like, how fun is that? Like, your life is just to be able to be the artist, to be the Picasso of your life. It's a white canvas, it's a blank canvas every day.
Yeah, I love that.
Like, who gives a shit? Like, stop putting so much pressure on yourself. All your problems in your health come from your stresses. Like, what are you stressing over?
So how can
yeah.
I was gonna say, how can
you do it?
And how can we instill in people that take life so fucking seriously, and who really just get caught up in their own anxieties because of how serious they take life and just the seemingly defined negative aspects of it. How do we then open them up to the perspective of, just like you said, like, you've got one life, live it, and live in that simplicity.
Well, the way you bring people back is reminders. They have to be reminded. You don't realize how much you don't care about, right? You have an asthma attack. You don't realize how much you don't care about it until you can't breathe and you're trying to get air. You don't realize how much you don't care about it until you're fucking sick. You have a massive flu and your body doesn't even freaking move. You have no control of your body. You can give a shit less about turning on your iPhone. So it's almost like little reminders. Instead of waiting for these reminders to happen to you, you should go look for them and be like, oh, wow. You should really like schedule, and I think it's small controlled wins. Schedule a part of your day where you take time and like, I'll take a part of my day. True story. I'll take a part of my day and I'll look at the horrible stories in the world. I'll look at the death. I'll look at the shit stuff on Live Leak, and I'll be like, oh my God, this really exists out there. And that keeps a perspective in me of how conscious I need to be. Like, okay, don't get caught up in yourself. It's not all about that wild party on the weekend. It's not all about being egotistical. Does mom need something today? Call mom. Call mom right now. Like, I put the reminder hour in my day every day that grounds Enzo. It anchors Enzo down so Enzo doesn't get too above his head. Like, oh, Enzo, you know, I don't want to be like helium in there. Helium goes off into the space and it pops and it's gone. Like, I want to make sure I have anchor. So for anybody out there that is not understanding the value of things, I think you need to take small, short, few minute steps to legitimately make time. You tell yourself, when I go on this date, I'm not taking my phone on the whole date. I'm going to force myself to have a conversation with this girl or this guy to see how I feel about them. I'm going to, just like when you're studying for a test, I'm going to shut off the world. Like, the problem with overstimulation in the world is that it's taking us away from love, values, God, all the things that we had a great imagination and love for. We want more. Turn it off. Turn it off. So psychologists and doctors do this all the time. They talk about babies being overly stimulated. It's not a good thing. So how do you do it? It took a while to build it up. It's going to take a while to build it down. So get up tomorrow morning. Take 1 hour to meditate if you can, 20 minutes to meditate, whatever you got. Then take, practice 20, 30 minutes, do something for somebody without being distracted. 20, 30 minutes thinking about how valuable life is. It sounds stupid and silly, but this becomes part of your neural connections. When they wake up, they go coffee, shower, rush hour traffic, work. That's how you go every day. That's why you drive there subconsciously. But put another connection in there where it goes stop, think, okay, be a different person. Like, that's the beautiful thing about being a human is we can keep building more and more connections inside this fucking small brain that we have. Like, take the time. Many people out there have done 5 weeks, 6 weeks, got shredded, got ready for the summer, and then they lost it. How could you lose it when you knew you had it? It's because you stopped thinking about it. So you have to remember in life is that nothing is ever going to be on autopilot. There's no such thing as autopilot. Nothing you build will ever stay. The bridge that you built will wear down. The car you have will fall apart without oil change. Your body will fall apart without work. Your relationship will fall apart, without challenge. Same thing with your goals and your dreams. So if you want to stay realistic and believe in something, you have to show up to work for it every day. At least 10 minutes, 20 minutes, till it becomes an hour. Every day. That is the only way to make yourself realize what happiness is, what value is. And I think that's all you can really do. There's no way around it, Matt, besides work. You have to work for it.
So what's your intention with Enzo Enlightens and your page and where you're sort of potentially directing them?
That's so funny. That's a good question. So I'll just say how it started. So I always was giving people advice, a lot of it. And people told people about people giving me them advice. And then they would call. And pretty soon the numbers got so big that I started to really believe, like, wow, maybe I'm an advice guy. Like, I can give advices. That's how it all began. And I started walking around, a security job one night, and I'm like, Enzo. I'm like, Enzo talks, Enzo this. And one kid next to me goes, I go, how about Enlightens? He goes, it rhymes very well. I said, cool. About a year ago, I made the page Enzo Enlightens. And my goal was this. The goal was not to make money, because I don't make any money off that page at all. I have 3 books out. I have 2 more books coming. The goal with that is just to say that there's a voice out there that doesn't cost you $2,000 to go to the seminar, that doesn't cost you $300 to buy a fucking program. There's a voice out there, a guy that is not a millionaire, that is not successful, does not have all the dreams and brags about him. There's a guy out there with holes in his shoes. Half the time he doesn't cut his fucking hair, and he's still showing up to work every day, and he's telling you, this is what I'm thinking today, and if you can get anything out of this, good luck to you. He's there for you. So the goal of Enzo Enlightens is to let people know that there's a weak shadow, weak meaning not rich. There's a weak shadow out there that is still riding for you. Like you have a friend in the dark. When you're in the dark, there's a shadow that you can still see. It's called Enzo Lightens, and you can call him, and he's gonna pull you out of this. He's gonna call one of his connections. Because I tell everybody, even when I go to the casinos, I go, I'm everybody's lucky card but myself. My luck does not work for me. It works for everybody else. And I've come to the conclusion that if this is going to be my vessel in life, then I'm going to go out with a fucking blaze of glory, making everybody fucking happy. And Enzo Lightens really is my struggles should become your mentor.
Cool. I love it.
That's what it is. And I don't, you know, Matt, I don't think it really deserves a fight. Like what you do every day, man. Like you're doing a little bit more than me. You are inviting people from around the world to join you. They've probably never even been to Australia. You're inviting people into a different world. And even some of these massive motivational speakers out there, they wait for people to find them. You go find people. That's a massive flip on the whole situation.
It's just a little different.
I love Gary Vee.
He's good.
I love Gary Vee. I love Les Brown. I love all Lewis Howes. I love all these people. I know they're so busy. I know they retweet and they like everything. But to have someone that goes 1 day, 2 days out of the week, I'm just going to call a bunch of people. And I think Gary Vee he calls a lot of people. He's actually the one that does go after everybody. You're kind of starting to do that a little bit. But I think that's a massive part of it because you are coming back no matter how far you're going on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
That's a big advancement for people, my friend. It's huge.
It seems scary to start with, but it's actually like everything. It's never as scary as what you make out before you start, and there's always a lot more support than what you first imagined there would be as well. People really are amazing fucking creatures. They really want to help. They really want to do good in the world, and when they get an opportunity to do that, they jump at the opportunity.
You know, I'd say it's been weird. Ever since I did the vlogcast with you, I've had about 4 people a week calling me for advice. Literally like around the clock. And I feel weird because I'm not a licensed doctor. This is not my practice. And I try to be very clear to not give people advice that I don't know because there's so many holes in my information, you know? I only know what I know. And it's just amazing that people are like reaching, and I almost feel like I would be doing a disservice if I didn't pick up my phone.
Fuck yeah, of course.
I'm like I have to pick this up. I have to. Like how can I not do this? I have to do something. And I feel like that. I feel like that is so much more important. You know, when you work in real estate, it's very cutthroat. It's all about money, and everybody's smashing your head in. But when I'm doing Enzo Lightens, you get to have a heart. It's a different world.
Yeah.
And I can tell you right now, honestly, and I thank you for this. I really thank you for this. Ever since I did that live stream with you, I've had an abundance of Australian followers that I've never had before in my life. I had people from Russia. I've had people from Italy, people from Las Vegas, and even people still from Canada pouring in. I saw that. And I never thought that like sharing thoughts live would make a difference.
That's full on, man. It's truly amazing. It blows me away.
Bizarre.
How many people there are, like 7.6 billion people in the planet. And we all just want to connect, feel accepted, feel appreciated, feel loved, feel valued. And when we relate to people, and you're very relatable as well, and it's they come out of the woodworks. That's for sure.
I like the fact that you know, a lot of times I was like, you know, wow, man, I'd rather be like, you know, very wealthy, very put together. Like it's so much easier to tell someone how to do something once you made it because people, they want to get a piece of what you have. And there's a difference between taking a rich, successful person as a mentor because you want to get what they have and you're inspired to get to them and you'll spend the $200 for their course and blah, 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 versus listening to a poor, simple guru that walks around the street, the wise men, and I always believe that it's in the Bible, it's in every religious book, it's in every philosopher's dream that the wisest people are the ones that never have touched the gold. They're the people they're the ones that have touched the sand. They're the most basic ones in the world. They're the ones that their feet are still to the ground. And they'll give you, and like I told you last time, they'll give you the wisdom. The wisdom is free because they know that mankind cannot buy the discipline to follow it. It's a massive thing. So I think that's a big aspect of the whole entire thing. So I feel like we're in the right pattern.
Yeah.
And by the way, don't worry about that sound because I'm fucking talking right through it. I don't know what the hell that is.
It's epic.
That happens.
Yeah, and people do ask a lot of the time, especially in the coaching space, like what certifications do you have, or what training did you need to do to be a life coach? And it's hilarious, man. It's funny.
Well. You know what? Look. You're not giving them medical advice, blood advice. You're giving them common sense advice. You're an observational analyst. You're looking around and you're interpreting your own stories. You're saying, hey, this will work for me. And I've gotten a chance to talk to 78, 79 different people live stream, plus more. So I'm pretty familiar with the world, and I like to share you, an eighth of it, or an 20th of it, and you can digest the rest for yourself. I'm just here to give you a little bit of a start. That's all you're doing. You're not steering no one the wrong way. You're not steering no one the wrong way. And you'd be shocked that the most effort that people put in life is on Christmas and Valentine's Day and holidays because they're obligated. Most people would not pick up the phone to say, hey, are you okay? Why are you asking me that? Well, because I just wanted to know if you're okay. That's massive.
Yeah.
I call at least 5 people a week, and this is no joke. You check my phone lines, at least 5 people a week, and I go, you okay?
Yeah, cool.
Out of nowhere. And I don't care if they think I'm weird. It's just the way that I feel. And what is done for me, it is open doors for me with opportunities that I never could imagine in my life. So I feel like, and I think Samantha was asking me, like, I don't know if she asked me what my mission was in life, or what's my mission in life, or did I miss that a bit? I think my mission is just like yours, Matt. I think it's unfolding. Nobody can tell you what your mission is. If you get a terminally blood disease, Alex Trebek today got stage 4 pancreatic cancer, right? Luke Perry passed away the other day out of nowhere. How can you tell somebody what your mission is? You cannot tell somebody what your mission is because your life story may change tomorrow and your mission may have to change. Your mission right now is to live the most out of your life, exhaust the most, and do the things that make you happy. And if making you happy is sitting in your room playing solitaire, do it. If it's giving back to people, do it. Whatever the fuck it is, do it. But there's always a consequence. The consequences of playing solitaire is you won't have a fulfilling life of adventure. The consequences of being a rebel out there is you could probably break the law and go to jail. Like, do what makes you happy, accept the fucking consequences. And your mission is there is no mission. Your mission is a sum of what everything became to be. There's no mission. Be yourself. The mission is to stay alive. Stay alive as long as you fucking can stay alive. That's your fucking mission if you want to make one.
And have fun in the process.
Yeah. No, and I really believe that. And I don't have all the right answers, but I just know like the stuff that I've seen.
Yeah.
And I think what makes people like you and I, pretty strong with people out there is the fact that, we've made it, but we've not made it to be overly gone from people. Like, we're still very attached to people. We still go through things.
Just relatable.
And I think that when your feet are still on the ground, the sand grains of logic and time of life are still reachable. You can still grab them and reach them.
I like the notion of expanding the capacity for happiness, and just with that in the back of my mind, sort of like with the daily B, believing in myself to start with is like getting from diseased or unhealthy mentally and physically to a neutral point of health mentally and physically. And then from that point, expressing ourselves authentically and really just learning to be ourselves in the most enthusiastic and energetic way, and just really being our truest selves. And with that notion of expanding the capacity for happiness, with starting with the self, because that'll just emanate out to others as well. That journey of consciously evolving and consciously just always growing and learning and facing our fears and facing our challenges to just push through to the next one and be that example for people that we are enough, that we are amazing, unique individuals, and that we have everything that we need right here, right now, and there is nothing more that we need. Everything else is just an opportunity to express our love for the world and our uniqueness and our own creativity.
Yeah.
It's it really, like,
100%.
to the simplest form is where they say just be, like, just literally just be. And the pulling the mind back from the future into the present time, pulling the mind forwards from the past experiences, where the past sort of gets us sad and depressed and the future makes us anxious and overwhelmed. The present moment, when really sitting in it, there is nothing else except for innovative, creative, imaginative fun that can be had. And we get to choose how we define our present moment experiences and what we do with it. And
I think I'm with you 100%. I think a lot of people just don't want to accept the fact that life is something that you will never control. It will always change. There'll always be light and dark, cold and hot, friends that come and go, people that grow away from you, that grow into you. It's a very weird thing that most humans want stability, but they misinterpret the way stability is supposed to be. Stability is supposed to be like, am I still in reach of food, sleep, health? Am I okay? Love? Okay. It's still in reach. That's the limit of your stability. Everything else is growing. And I think people I think stress comes when you try to say, don't change. Like, think about all people's stresses. The relationship didn't work out. The money didn't work out. The friendships grew apart. They don't feel significantly enough.
it comes from attachments,
Like all
and
this
expectations.
attachments, and all their stresses come down to the point of trying to control things that are uncontrollable.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to control any of those things. Your stability is the true stability is not the anchor. It's the oar. It's the oar on the boat in the ocean. It's you know what the oar is? The oar is the ability to still paddle. That's your fucking stability, to still be able to paddle. I just made that up, by the way. It's just the ability to keep going. You can still reach for love. You can still reach for success. You can still reach for health. You're fighting. That's stability. The ability to still fight. Not, oh, everything's settled. I got my IRA and I got my 401k. No. And I think once you get that bullshit out of your head, I've learned that nothing fucking stays in my life. So I'm a happier person because nothing stays. I'm tumbleweed in the wind.
You're the only thing that is still there.
My constant showing up is my fixture. It's a moving fixture. It's not an anchor fixture. It's a moving fixture. And I think once people do that, it's so much easier when you learn to let go. When you learn to let go. If you want a teacher in life, it's nature. Nature told you already. At some point in life, it's going to shake your whole entire species off like fleas. You're going to be shaken off again. It told you already how to be living in frequent evolution. It was not lying to you. It was never lying to you. And people are like, no, but yes. Like, stop trying to control everything.
Yeah.
And flow with everything, and life will be better. I think so.
Is that the impact you want to have?
I don't,
Is to help people and assist people in accepting what is and flowing with life more?
If I can meet everybody that I've ever met in my life, and they could tell me, hey, I got married, hey, I got a kid, hey, I've had people, what really fueled a lot of the Enzo Lighten stuff is people come up to me. Over the few years, there was no such thing as Enzo Lightens. There was no such thing as published books. I wasn't doing any of this stuff. I just was verbally talking. And people are like, yo, I got a degree. You lit the fire under my ass. Yo, thank you so much for getting me out of my relationship. I found the love of my life afterwards. Like, these are not things that anybody else has not done in life. Just many people have done this before me and probably better than me. But I got the chance to contribute in somebody's life. Even on a 1/18th of the whole fraction of whatever it is. And that was more than enough for me. So that's why we're here right now. We're here right now because a part of our hearts wants to give back to people. And the reason why I do this, Matt, is because I don't want anybody dwelling in something too long when it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Don't dwell. You're not a good interviewer.
What?
You're not good at applying for jobs. Use your brain and get a headhunter to get the job for you. Like, I just want you to realize that there's a door. Go out that door and get moving. Don't dwell. Dwell is hell. Don't revolve. Evolve. Hurry up.
Say that again.
Hurry the fuck up. What's that? Don't, to dwell is hell. Don't revolve. Evolve.
Yes.
Evolve. Hurry up, because this is all you got right now. You don't have time. If anybody out there is in their 30s or 40s, there's people in your life around your 30s and 40s that are now dying. You're at that age. People are going away now. It's happening. They're going to go away in 20 years. Wake up. It's happening. And they're going to be good one day. And then you're going to get a call, and they're going to be like, oh, so-and-so's in the hospital. They're in hospice out of nowhere. And they're fine. And they're happy. And then 4 hours later, they're dead. Stop wasting your life. Stop wasting the opportunity to do something. Wake the fuck up and get out of your ego and get out of your fear. None of it fucking matters. Nobody's going to remember shit that you fucking cried about. Nobody's going to remember crap. The kid that stabbed me in my leg, and no, I have lead in the middle of my leg from an old pencil, the old school pencils in 2nd grade, from a kid that just stabbed me in there. He probably has no idea he stabbed my leg with a pen. And it's been, 40 years later? He doesn't fucking know. Like, nobody knows. Like, so I just think, like, grow the fuck up and go make the best out of your life.
I love it, brother.
Hurry up.
Hurry the fuck up.
Hurry the fuck up. Hurry the fuck up. Like, just go. And like, I tell you what, I'll tell girls sometimes that are like, the trend now here in my side of America is, and you can go on, because you go on the Instagrams, at least in my target area, I won't judge the whole world, but in my target area is most of the women I know that are pretty attractive and they have one kid. Their life, and they don't even realize it. It's a constant photo, of a glass of wine in front of a television. That's their date night over and 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 over. And I'm like, that doesn't even make you happy. Like, I know it doesn't. I'm like, then why are you doing that? Because they're not moving. They're waiting for the love of their life. There's no love of your life. There's no perfect world. You're Picasso. Take your fucking paintbrush. Go build some shit. Go put your Jenga blocks together.
You are the love of your life.
Let them fall.
And you are the perfect color.
Yeah. You are the love of your life. The only thing you're giving to someone else is you're sharing it.
Yeah.
You can't make people happy. You can't.
No.
You can't. You can distract them,
Mm.
but they're not going to have the same emotions of you in the morning, day, and night. They're not going to feel like you. Like, as soon as you get that shit out of your head, the soul make is a soul make. There's no soulmate. It's soul make. It's how many times can we make ourselves relate with each other?
Yeah. I love it.
Let's fix it out right now. Let's fix it right now. And I think that's a big part of it. So, I mean, these are not things that people have not heard before, but they're things that people don't want to listen to. And maybe this time they sit in the ear, they sit in the subconscious.
Yeah.
And people go, fuck, I don't know why, but I need to change things up, because it's viciously important, man.
Yeah, it really is. Well, it is if you want it to be, and if you want to be having something different, not waiting, not trying to fill voids, and actually wanting to love and believe in yourself.
What have you found, though? All these people that you've interviewed, all these different people, there's got to be a commonality in all of these people that you've interviewed, that even though they give good advice for your fans and for people watching, you as an observational analyst and as an interviewer, you must be noticing something. I feel like something's missing from this person. You have to, at this point, be picking up on stuff. And if you are picking up on stuff, what are you picking up on?
So the first thing is that we're all on the same path. And when I say the same path, the best description of that I've seen so far, which is just a fable or metaphor for it, is the hero's journey. Everyone's at different stages. So that's the first thing, is that we're all on the same journey. the end point essentially is reaching our goals and our destinations, and realizing that our goal and destination wasn't actually the goal and destination. It was the character and the person that we were becoming, and then taking who we are, and then going and helping other people on that journey to find themselves and understand themselves. So that's one thing. The other thing is the level of blame and excuse for things outside of people.
The most critical thing, yeah,
is a big part in their own conscious evolution and where they're at. And you can tell pretty quickly what someone's map of the world is like based on the way they speak and how they talk. But also that to the core, everyone is really fucking beautiful. Everything's done with a positive intent.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And
good times. Yeah.
And so even though people may not be getting the results they want, or they might not have the mental stability or physical health that they desire, the reason they do what they do, and the reason they've got the habits that they've got, or the seemingly negative behaviors that have come out, is them doing the best that they can with all the information that they've got throughout their life so far. And what they're doing is being done with a positive intent. And so perspective and people's view of reality, what they classify their reality, plays a massive part in who they are, what they decide to do, where they focus their energy on. Sure. But I broke it down with the Daily Bee. Like I said, really believing in themselves is what everyone's trying to do. And if they do believe in themselves, they're just constantly trying to build evidence on that to keep that going. And with that belief, the level of someone's belief dictates the level of action that they take, or the level that they express themselves, and the level at which they're willing to be authentic and vulnerable to express themselves as well.
Sure.
And that willingness of vulnerability and authenticity then affects the level at which they're willing to evolve consciously and actually face their inner demons to move up to that next level of wherever they're at the moment.
Well said. Well, I want to thank you for doing a service for everybody, because it's like having a psychologist that you don't have to pay for, and you have to go see. Like, he's there. You turn on the internet, and I really think that, you know, people will be in a better place. The world be in a better place.
Into a testament.
I think people will be in a better place. The world be in a better place. You know, the more you talk.
Yeah.
Like, conversation is key. Like, one of my exes used to conversation. Call you want to talk about conversation. I said, because the more you talk, the more you reveal, the more you hear yourself talk, the more you see who you are. You're like, oh shit. Yeah. Conversation is so impactful of finding resolutions for everything in your head, in their head, in both your heads, in the outside world, in front of people. And I think that what you do every day is you allow people to get out of their heads. Like, they may want to be motivational speakers, some of them, but I'm pretty sure that after they talk to you and or they continue doing these speeches, they go, wow, it's the journey. Your journey is your brand. You're starting to articulate who you really are becoming. Like, a lot of your people that were like, they share a story about being abused and how they overcame something. In 5 years, they may not do this anymore. They may just be some type of a different worker. But because of this conversation, maybe this conversation was not to keep them on the journey, was to heal the journey.
Yeah.
So that's why conversation is so viciously important, you know.
100%.
And I firmly believe in, like, talking is key and listening is even more key on that part. It changes everything. Like, I will tell you right now, the probably the least percentage of things that people watch are philosophy. People don't want to know. They don't want to know how the mind works. They don't want to know the soul. They don't want to know. They don't want to know.
It's painful.
And I honestly think that you should know. I think you should know in a way. Because I personally think that it will change your perspective on. If you're not happy where you are in life, if you're struggling, then you probably should open Pandora's box. But if you're happy in your bliss, then live in your freaking bliss.
That's ignorant. That's where the ignorance is bliss comes from. It is so much easier to be ignorant and believe that the surface level is all there is. It is easier. It's harder to open up to yourself. And
why be ignorant and happy? Like, even Gary Vee would tell you, if you're happy, be fucking happy.
It's
Like, he
surface
doesn't
level
bother
happy,
you.
though.
Surface level happy, yeah. But if you're not inherently inside conditionally happy within you, then wake up and realize, you know, you're gonna die and all this shit's gonna happen. Wake the fuck up and put it. Like, if you're unhappy, open Pandora's box and see what life really looks like, and then get your perspective fixed. But if you are happy and you still believe in the tooth fairy and all this other stuff, then go ahead, man. I wish I could be like you. That'd be fucking great. Shit, man. So,
Wait, the
like,
tooth
you know
fairy's
what I
not
mean?
real?
Like, but just don't. I think when you realize that everybody has different tooth fairies, you're like, how the hell did you get $100 for your tooth? Why did I get 10 cents? What the fuck happened over here? Like, who's my tooth fairy? Who does she work for? Like, no, but I mean, like, in general, take accountability to get yourself out of disaster quickly.
Yeah.
Unhappy disaster.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the man, my God, man, it's the biggest part of the whole fucking deal, man. So what I'm hoping is that when you come here to the States this year, you know, a couple of tours, you get a couple of guests, and they don't just come out for a good show. They come out, they learn something, they take something with them, and they follow up and they go, hey, yeah, I applied it, bro. In 7 days, I got this going on. Like, that's one thing I will do, man. I'll tell you like that. Like, I call people like 7 days later. I go, what'd you do? It's like, what? I'm like, what happened? I emailed you a structure to follow. Did you follow it? No. Why? Like, I fact check them and it fucks them all up in the head. Like, maybe, you know, I'm pretty sure you'll probably do that when you come out here. You just start going at people. Like, what are you doing? Because we don't got time. Like, you got a great following. You know what I mean? Like, Samantha's awesome. Glenn's awesome. Like, they're all great out there. Like, you know, and it's like, you want more people out there are looking for stuff like this.
That's it, man. 100%.
They need
I'm going to keep people accountable before I get to America.
They need it. What's that?
I'm going to be keeping people accountable before I get to America and when I'm there.
I think the sad thing is that somebody said to me, like, what's the market? Well, the market is full of a bunch of volatile people. It's like 3 or 4% of the people said this is what's cool. Everybody else followed, and then everybody else followed after that. The market is bullshit. It's just such bullshit. And if you are touring North America and you're at 5 or 6 stadiums, your popularity will soar through the roof. And you have more fans than you've ever had in your life. And it's good because the message will be there, but it's sad that people didn't want to look before that happened if they knew. So that's why I think it's important to always remind people, maybe in every one of your speeches, of like where you come from, what the silence is like. And that's why I'm so glad you're taping all of these things. This is full documentary, man.
It is, and
this is history.
That's why it's so good. Like one of the things that I was challenged by getting into the coaching space was owning my value. And one of the things my coach said to me was that, which really put the fire under my ass, he's like, Matt, you're probably not going to be doing one-on-one coaching very long. You might do it for 12 to 24 months. And then you're going to be so busy, you're going to transfer and start doing group coaching because there's too much of a supply, or you're going to be so expensive, people aren't going to be able to afford you. So all the people now that you're offering one-on-one coaching to, like, know what you're worth and know what the value is that they're actually getting, because the only difference really between charging $1,000 a month or $10,000 a month is your confidence. You're still doing the same processes. You're still doing this, asking the same questions. It's just your self-belief that goes up, because it's all the same conversation. It's just a different person. So it is like, there's a really unique opportunity here for all of the people that are in my network and all the people that are following along this journey to really bind together and create really strong relationships, because it isn't going to be long until speaking for myself, and I know for you as well, that and
what's up, Alex?
The supply is going to be so heavy that our time is going to be need to be managed really, really carefully and really well, and there is going to be a supply for it, and it's going to be a demand for it. So that's a part of living in the now that I'm really enjoying. Is I can already see myself speaking about these moments later on. But I'm also really enjoying as much as the amount of friend requests and the amount of comments I'm getting is overwhelming because I'm not used to this amount. I still know that it's so small compared to running teams, running businesses, running like different events and doing all these things, which is going to be so much more time consuming, but yet different.
This will probably out of your whole entire journey, this will probably be the best moment of your life. When it was simple, when you were getting up every day, making the connections on your own before it got all chaotic. This will probably be the best part of your life. You're like, gosh. And it's humbling because you owe yourself everything right now. When you're starting off, you owe yourself a good life, but you're giving everybody else a good life. So that's a humbling thing.
Yeah.
This is a moment this is a moment when nobody should matter but you. So you can, get to a level that you want to get to, but you're giving everything to everybody else. So what that basically means is as you rise, everybody else will rise with you. So what you're doing is humbling, and what you're doing is rare, and I commend you on it. I think it's a great thing. And I think this is what makes heroes. It's people that go out there and try to do something different. And at the end of the day, you will change people. You will influence people. There are so many cold, rare people out there that are just not even smart, and it's just horrible. Like, the world needs more intelligence and thoughtfulness. Being thoughtful, being intelligent is an attractive quality that most people don't have.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like I'd rather be the rare breed.
Fuck, yeah.
I'd rather be the rare breed.
I think you said it the other day when we were chatting that people were going one way, so I wanted to go the other way. And just when you're going against the grain, you know you're on the right track. If you're following the crowd, there's something wrong. But even now in this state of establishing myself as well and my brand and what we're doing, I think it was Arnold Schwarzenegger that said there's no such thing as self-made, and there really isn't. Like, I would not be able to do any of this if it wasn't for the support of the people that I have around me and the love and care that they show me.
Sure.
Like it's already started. It started so long ago. I just didn't recognize it and realize it for what it was. But it's
no, but how do you feel? You feel good though, right? You feel like this is where I belong.
Fuck yeah.
You enjoy it. You wake up in the morning and you unconsciously can't wait to go live again. You can't wait. What a life. What a life. Like, most people get up in the morning and their best part of the day is the coffee before they have to get the ride to work.
Yeah.
What a life to love what you do. No matter what's in your pocket, whether you have kids or not, but what a life to go, I'm happy. Like, you are achieving something that most people are afraid to achieve.
And I trigger a lot of people.
And I think it's so...
in doing it this way as well.
Yeah. Of course. And that's what it's going to be like. We trigger people to do well in life. And some people will leave. They'll take what you give them and they'll run off and they'll never come back again.
Yeah. That's okay.
Part of life. Other people will come back a few times. Like, to have a humble quality is rare. To have an altruistic quality is rare. To be there for people is rare. So I think you're onto something. And I'll tell you what, dude. I hope that our conferences clash. I think that'd be freaking awesome, man.
What's the name of your the Conscious Cave, was it?
Conscious
Cove, yeah.
Conscious Cove.
Love it.
Conscious Cove, and I focus on accountability, actuality, and adjustability. I try to do everything in 3 steps to get people out of it, and I use a lot of my own quotes. And I don't see anything being massively big. I just see it consciously in one area, and if it can succeed in this town, let's go to the next county. Like, I look at it, that's the level that I look at. Like where we'll go from there, But that more or less is not me. That more or less is people like you. That's people. I want to bring people into that to speak. I just kind of want to be the director of that. I'll open it, I'll close it, but I want people to be the voice. Enzo Enlightens is me, but Conscious Cove is the world. And that's kind of what it is. And Conscious Cove really is just like, it's an hour out of your day. It's an hour out of your month.
Yeah.
To get back to the basics. That's it. Just give yourself some time. And remember that there's a cove. There's a place out there where you can escape from this shit for a little bit. And if you want to go back out and into the bloodshed and not care, go ahead. The cove is still going to be there. The ocean's still going to come in. The wind's still going to go. be butterflies on the rocks. If you wanted to come and chill, when you decide to stay, the home's here for you. You want to leave, leave. And I want to keep it like that. That's how I look at shit, man.
Awesome, bro. Can you put your links in the comments as well when we jump off, so people know where to catch up?
Yeah, let me. I don't know. You know, I should probably just start like changing this whole entire thing up right now. Like, how do you put your link? Is it Instagram links, or how do you actually do this thing right here? What works better for you?
If you want, I can. I'll put them in the bio. I'll just edit the bio and put them.
I got it right there. Got it.
Cool.
So yeah, there's a lot coming, man. There's a lot coming. When you come out here, I want to introduce you to a whole bunch of people, some really good people. I can't even tell you where they're all from, all fucking walks of life. But I want them to meet you. I want them to see the show and everything like that, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think there's going to be a lot of, man, there's going to be a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah.
I talked to D-Rock tonight.
Oh, did ya? What did you guys catch up about?
Yeah. Well, you know, he's looking for a place in the Hudson Yards. I found him 7 fucking places. He hasn't decided on one. And the problem is that Gary Vee has him all over the world. I'm talking to him, and the next day he's flying to Singapore. I'm like, Jesus, dude. And I invited him to, we're doing 2 events on Friday and Saturday in New York. My friend's opening a sneaker store. We're going to have some recording artists there. And I invited him to come join. And he was going to come. He was definitely down for it. But he's got to fly out again. Like, nobody has a schedule like Gary Vee. Gary Vee has the most wildest schedule
Challenge
in the world.
accepted.
I'm the man. Challenge accepted. So I told him, I'm like, you know what? Go do your schedule. Come on back. Coffee's on me. Like, and it's cool. Like, you know, like, he's a cool guy. He's a cool guy. And it all came from the power of social media. Social media changed everything. And I tell you, we linked on Twitter. And that's why anybody out there that's tuning in this thing, you know, you're watching Matty B, like, follow him and write and share. Like, this is what we're doing here. And this is probably the best part of the day. And the thing I like talking about you, man, is that nothing that we do is vanity. It's not look at me, look at my butt, look at my chest. Like, it's nothing like that.
I do have a pretty cute butt though.
It's logic. I'm gonna start. You know what? Maybe if I start, you know, taking butt pictures, I'll probably have my followers.
Maybe next episode we can just start twerking.
And Enzo's glutes. All right, this is the best episode ever. What the hell is philosophy when you got glutes? Yeah, good point. Yeah, all right. Yeah,
Matty B's badass booty shake.
But dude, there's a workout video in Miami right there. There's a workout video. Have you checked your demographics on your site? Like, where are they coming from? Where are most of your followers coming from?
They're mainly from Melbourne, Victoria. There's a lot in the States. I haven't checked exactly where in the States, but a lot from America.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is mainly America, Australia, Canada, and New Zealand.
Yeah. That is amazing, man. You know, I think I've got Australia and London the most, and New York. Those 3 are the biggest for me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell? And it's fascinating though. It's so fascinating. I think the majority of my fans are men though.
Mine are women.
They're men. Enzo, well, no, the Enzo Alliance, the philosophy is women.
Okay.
The real estate's all men.
Yeah.
And it's I'm like what? But more women are selling real estate than men, which is the funniest thing. Like, they sell more in New York at least.
But that's the thing. Like, men are the logical, right side of brain, want to understand the money, and then the women are more emotional and creative. So that's hence the one.
Very good point. What an unbelievable thing. So how's the truck and everything? You got the truck wrap, everything set up for here now?
So
is that closer?
No, I'm going to be reaching out. So if anyone is got some time on their hands and wants to join the team and just help me out with a few of the back end stuff, and that's going to be like calling people, reaching out to people, doing certain things, then I'm open to connecting with people on that front. I'm actually putting together an investor proposal for an investor to potentially come on board as a business partner. So I'm looking at that option. And then also advertising partners as well to come on board and be the advertisers on the ships, the spaceships that we're going to be cruising around in. So they're basically the two.
I love it.
And we're also looking for a camp event company to come on board as well. So ideally it would be to exchange the use of camper vans for advertising space on the billboards. Second to that, I'd like to purchase them because I'm going to be purchasing them, a fleet of them anyway. So if we get a sponsorship deal with someone to start with, then we'll organize a deal to actually start purchasing through them as we go along. Yep.
I'll tell you what though. I have God, man. I got a good friend of mine, a recording artist that left the entertainment industry after he had On Top of the World. He's got a great story. I got another guy that works with Dennis Rodman and Hulk Hogan and all them, and he's got a great story. He just published a book. And God, I got you know, it's just, when you really think about it, man, you think about being an influencer, so many people out there. So when you do settle into New Jersey or New York area, though, I'll introduce you to these people. I got a good friend of mine. He's the tattoo artist, Brett Michaels of Poison. He has a hell of a fucking story.
Yeah.
So you, my friend, will have no shortage of guests at your events. And they probably will be some of the most epic events ever. Like we talked about, everybody like does the numbers, the money, the numbers, but we're actually coming from the heart. And when you're coming from the heart, the heartbeat is louder than the sounds of money in a cash register.
Fuck yeah.
So this is going to be, it's much more. So it's going to be something that I think is going to be impactful. So I feel really good about it, man. And I don't, I don't speak no BS over here. Like we're going, man.
100%.
We're going. There's going to be the hippypreneur out there. There's going to be the conscious cove at some point, but there's going to be like, Matty B like on the stage introducing, telling everybody what's going on. And then one by one, this arsenal of speakers that he created and put together, like how the fuck did he do this shit? It's going to happen. And it's going to be the greatest legacy of your life before you go on to your next chapter.
That's it.
But what I implore you for is going heavy and hardcore and relentless to get it done. To get it done. And most people would never take you're all the way in the land down under and you're taking flights to Miami. You're taking flights to New York. You're that hungry. Most people dream about that shit, but you're making it happen. And that's massive.
I really do. Yeah.
Beyond belief. And I think we did our first talk when you were jet lagged.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's true.
You want to make
40 hours
okay,
after a
you
flight.
still up right now. God, man. But that's what I'm talking about. You're a special guy, bro. This is what's all gonna happen, man. And I think Samantha wants to say it's the booty, man. She wants to see your booty. There you go. So she's a piece of work. She's hilarious.
Comments on comments.
So
I don't know. Anyway.
now mine came up. There's a few that came up, but like, yeah, dude. What we're going to do is we should do I'm trying to get LinkedIn right now to do a live stream on it. My friend got accepted on LinkedIn. So what I think we should do is do a live stream on LinkedIn, which is big because that's the executive commercial people. And, they don't really take too much time to think, which is a good thing to help them out. And then Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Done. Well, let's do them.
Done deal. And
Let's do them tomorrow or the day after, or both.
Let me know. Friday, I'm going to be in New York, in Manhattan. My friend opens a sneaker store. I'll FaceTime you if I can. I'm probably going to be with recording artist Avery Storm, which would be massive.
Oh.
He's such a good guy, man. Yeah, man, I'm so happy to have him out. And he had a tough story, man. He left the industry. Both of his parents are gone within a year. Like, he had a really rough punch to the face. But if he's willing and down, man, I'll put him on the live gram with me. That would be Friday. Yeah. Saturday's the opening. I'm going to be live streaming. So feel free to hit request for video if you see me pop up, man, and just hop in that damn thing.
Done.
You're one of my boys, man, so you can do what you need to do.
Okay, you better.
Hop in there and we'll get it going, man.
Cool, man.
Yeah, dude. All right, and we'll get in contact soon, brother, but I appreciate it, man. And as always, thanks, Glenn. Glenn's leaving. Always a good talk with you, man.